Hello, and welcome back to Girl We Gotta Talk. I'm your host, Elena Jakes. Welcome back to another episode. Actually, a surprise episode, a little bonus episode for the week. You guys are welcome. You are blessed by the one and the only Rachel Blake. Welcome.
Oh, stop it. I'm so excited to be back.
We are joined by a Bravo expert. I'm sure you guys know her. She's so famous. No, but you guys probably already know Rachel. She is one of my best friends. We lived together for the past 2 years, which is sad because we're now virtually recording this. But she's my Bravo bestie. All we do is talk Bravo. All we do is talk pop culture. She's in the know sometimes more than I am, and then vice versa. Like, we always are sharing stuff with each other. So I was like, you have to come on. We have to do this episode because we just had BravoCon this past weekend. So there's so much to dive into and like just absorb and recap and talk about. So that's what we're going to do today. And then we also have a couple just general pop culture stories that have just been like kind of rocking our world a little bit. That we'll dive into as well. Should we start with those or should we start with Bravo, Rachel?
I feel like let's break down what happened the past like week and a half, just really quickly, because I know we're gonna get stuck like talking about Bravo, and then it's gonna take up like 5 hours of our time.
For sure. We were like, we don't have too much time, but like we could probably do this for the entire day and just have you guys like watch a live stream because we would just keep going.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Okay, well, let's just quickly run through a few of these stories that have hit the world. I don't know. First off, Travis and Taylor. We all know, we've all seen it. What are your initial thoughts on Travis, Kelce, and Taylor Swift?
I am so over it. I actually like hate it. Like, you know me, I'm a big football girly, and like I just literally, like, the first time it was fine. Like, I think I didn't want to believe it when the rumors came out. It was like Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. There's no way. There's simply no way. And then it was true. And then I was like, oh, okay. Let's see how this is going to go. And then the first game that she attended, it was fine. They were showing her in the stands. Now I hate it. Like, it's quite literally consumed all of like NFL, SportsCenter, ESPN, like all the Instagram pages. It's like all the cameramen are like, when they pan the camera up to her, and it's like she's doing these handshakes with Brittany Mahomes now, and like Brittany Mahomes just went to New York for like a viewing party with Taylor, and I'm like, this is also a lot. Also, a little side note on that: how cool is it for Brittany, who like grew up, like, she's only a year and a half older than us, and she grew up like listening to Taylor, you know, loving Selena Gomez, watching like Gigi model, like, and now she's like, quote unquote, like in that group. Like, for me, that's wild. Now she has these celebrity friends. That's crazy. But the overall Travis and Taylor, I'm over it. I'm simply over it. I just want zero more of it in my feed. I don't want it anymore.
Zero more, please.
Zero more.
I was so like, you said, like, I just didn't really believe it before I saw it. Yeah. I was like, this is just, people just want this to happen and it's not a thing. And the second that we saw them together, I was like, no freaking way. Yeah. This is no. And, you know, them driving off in the getaway car, that all felt like really staged to me. But the last couple of games that she's been to, I'm like, And like Donna Kelce, you know, Donna loves the press loves Donna. And so she was going out talking about it, and she was kind of being like a little bit cryptic about it. Like,
it's all too much for her. Yeah. She
it's
now watch everything she says and does, because those Swifties,
I know,
they're gonna come after you. And then
the NFL, I think, really thrived for a bit. I mean, Taylor Swift is so magical that like she can literally change the world just by being in a situation. And she made women buy NFL jerseys, watch NFL games, get into football, learn the sport so that she could be like, you know, they could be like Taylor and date a football player and understand like the way that like this whole coupling changed everything. It's so bizarre to me. I don't know if their end game, I'm like, people have their opinions. Are they going to be together forever? Is this like her one? Like, I don't know. I need more. If this is going to be like legitimate, I need to see more than her just going to a game. Like I need something else. And now she's going on tour, like her isn't she on
Yeah,
tour again for yeah.
she
So I'm
is
like,
the international leg. Well, apparently, well, Travis didn't come out and actually say it, but Jason, his brother, was asking him like, "Are you gonna go? You gonna go see her in Argentina?" He's like, "Because they have a bye week, so it's like, oh, well, maybe I might go somewhere tropical. I might go somewhere south." So like, he's not gonna go. She's been to 3 of his games. He's not gonna go, or he's not gonna not go see her on tour. But again, like I know how like demanding that football schedule is and the practice schedule. And like during training camp, those guys can miss a few days. But like he can't miss anything. And I don't want him to get distracted from the game. Like
that's what I also was thinking was
it's
like,
a little much.
even when she was at the games, I'm like, how? And I understand, like, we are seeing like a camera shot of the suite and then like the camera shot of him, and that is super far away. But
Right.
he still has to know that she's right there. Like, is that it's like high school? It's like, oh my God, my girlfriend's watching me. Like, you're
No,
like,
really.
are you like more nervous? Is it distracting? Like, everyone's talking about it. Your teammates are like, oh shit, Taylor's up there. And he's just like, yeah, like, it's
Yeah.
very interesting. Like, I wonder if that's actually I mean, he seems to be okay because he's scoring when she's there, but to an extent, it's got to be distracting. Like, all of this has just got to be noise. Like, you
Well,
got a
for
Super Bowl to
sure.
win, babe, you know?
Yeah. Like, well, that's the thing. Like, is it affecting his game? Like, he was doing really well in Kansas. He hits an away game and he's like, whoa, little flustered there. But then, like, I, yeah, like I mean, the Chiefs really, I mean, they're still in it. They're still in it. Everybody's still in it. But like, not everybody.
And everybody,
Not everybody.
damn.
But like, they're still in it. But like, how much of it is going to personally, if I was Travis, I'd be like, get away from me if we're going to the Super Bowl. Like, I can't have you or your Swifties around me. I think it was just bold to bring it on during the season. I really do. If it's a publicity stunt, congrats, it's really working. And like, you've boosted NFL jersey sales by 400%. You have, boosted the viewings by millions of viewers. Like, that's she's boosted the Kansas City just economy in general, because so many people are now traveling to the games to see Taylor, which is crazy. But
It's
like
so
also, like
wild.
that's one of her magical powers. But
Mm-hmm.
all in all, I'm over it.
It's just been a lot. So I'm
It's
just
really not.
curious, like, I mean, I feel like we're getting a little bit of a break from it right now, just because she's on tour and she had her little, she had some time off. She had just come off
Yeah.
this like tour. So I think she was just trying to live her life a little bit too, but it was a little crazy. I'm just curious how it's going to pan out. Okay, moving on. Another couple in the news, Courtney and
Yeah.
Travis, welcomed their baby Rocky. Okay, is his middle name 13?
Okay, I saw that. I saw that.
Rocky 13?
Rocky 13.
What?
Courtney and Travis
Okay.
talk.
Rocky it could be worse. Like, I think Rocky was like a little bit more normal than I thought it
He
could
was
have been.
definitely more normal.
I thought it
than
was going to be
their
like
other.
Mickey Mouse. That was the theory. It was like Mickey. His name's going to be Mickey. I was like, what? Okay. Because they love Disney.
Yeah.
So Rocky threw me for a loop. Do you know anything about the name of him?
No, other than it's Rocky 13.
Okay, perfect.
And I'm just like, I was like looking, I was trying to, but one thing about the Kardashian Jenners, they're going to name the kids whatever they want to name the kids.
That's
Same
right.
with other celebrities. But I feel like for Courtney, she has Mason, Penelope. Rain was a little like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
but still a good one. And I think Rocky is like, oh, okay. Like that's actually fine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate it. The 13, I'm just because it makes me think of like like a movie and a sequel. Like, you know what I mean?
That's
Like
exactly what I thought. Like,
I'm
I
like,
need to know the meaning because that's exactly what I thought. Hold
I'm
on.
like,
I'm just gonna
okay.
quickly, because is Rocky 13 Parker. The meaning. Let's see if this actually. He's a Scorpio baby. We love to see that. Rocky George played guitar for the Suicidal Tendencies, and 13 is just the greatest number of all time, is what Travis Barker said. Okay, perfect.
Okay, no, thank you, Travis, for that
I feel like
explanation.
I really learned a lot there. Thank you so much.
13 is just the greatest number of all time.
Okay, perfect.
So I'm actually name my kid that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm happy for them. I know that this was like a super long process. She went through
Yeah.
like a rough pregnancy, a rough labor,
Yeah.
um so I'm glad they have a happy, healthy baby, and maybe
Yeah.
we'll learn more about the meaning of the name on the show. But she's in her
I
little
think
love
they're,
bubble. She's happy.
yeah,
I'm happy for her.
I think they're kind of sort of filming right now because our bestie, Katie Austin, was just at
Our bestie.
Chloe's Fabletics workout event yesterday. And she was like, you couldn't have your phones out, but they took a picture together. And then like Chloe was posting, and I could see cameras in the background. So of
Oh,
course
hell
it could
yeah.
have just been filmed for Fabletics, but it could also be for the show. So,
Mm-hmm.
which
Curious. I'm
I
curious.
I do love them. I do love them. Yeah.
In other news, sad news, we learned about the passing of Matthew Perry this past, was it last week?
Last week.
Um, and he was like discovered in his pool in his house. Um, I was so sick when I heard this story. Like, it
Yeah.
was the way that it was almost like I knew him, like
Yes.
the way that I reacted to it, which I haven't really like. When celebrities like pass away, you always have like a little bit of like a, oh, like it hurts and it's sad and
Yes.
stuff. But for some reason, the learning of his passing was hit me so hard. And I
Yeah.
think that's what happened like with everybody, because you just feel like you know him through friends. You feel like he was like a part
Yeah.
of your childhood, like just growing up, and like a part of your
Yeah.
household. Oh my God. Where do you remember where you were when you found out?
Yeah. So we were actually in my friend's apartment and we were like getting ready to like go out. And I just open up my phone and I see that. And I was like, I teared up. I was like, no. And what am I supposed to do now? I can't go out.
Mm-hmm.
What? Like, I was so sad because I used to watch Friends every single night before bed. Like, I've watched all seasons, like, probably upwards of like 4 times, like start to finish. But then, like, it's always on TV. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's such like a comfort show. And like, yeah, it's like I knew him. You know,
Yeah.
I most definitely did not. But like, I was so sad. I immediately texted my mom because that was like a show we would always watch together. And she was like, no, you're joking. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely not. Would never joke about that one. Like, it was so sad.
It's
It's
so
so
sad. And now everybody was like kind of going through his Instagram posts the last couple of weeks leading up to it, saying that he like almost knew it was going to happen. He was like giving us, these cryptic clues and stuff. And like the last photo on
yeah,
his Instagram was him in his pool or in
yeah,
his jacuzzi. Um, and I don't know, it's really sad because he's obviously dealt with like a lot of,
yeah,
addiction. He was an alcoholic. And you know what really like pains me? He just did a book tour and he just came to DC like like not very recently, but like in the last year. And I thought about getting tickets just to be like, oh my gosh, I got to see Matthew Perry. And I knew it was just going to be him sitting on the stage talking about the book and stuff. But I was like, maybe I'll just get the book. Like maybe I'll go. Cause I remember getting an ad for it and I was like,
yeah,
hmm. And I just never did. And so when I was like, all over the internet about this, everybody is basically saying the same thing. Like, I wish that we had read his book before this and not after. Because now
yeah,
everybody, when someone dies like this, then they kind of like hyper fixate on that person and they want to do
right.
everything. Like, and so now everybody's reading the book and like
Yeah,
learning about his struggles and stuff. And it's just so sad that he was just dealing with this like constantly. But he
yeah,
seemed to be in an okay place. Apparently, he played pickleball twice a day. He loved it.
yeah,
And on the day that he passed, he only played once and he left early.
yeah.
So I'm just like, oh, just so sad. So
Yeah,
sad.
I almost like kind of hate when celebrities die and then all of these people come out of the woodworks with all their like conspiracy theories about it.
Yes.
But I'm just like, can we Can we
let him
not,
rest.
yeah, can we not flood social media with all this? Can we just please, like, for the sake of like his family and friends, like leave this alone for a minute? I mean, I get it when people are like comparing the last chapter of his book, which was like Batman, and then he was not on social media, and then every single day he posted for like the last 5 days or whatever. And everything had to do with Batman. People are like, oh, he knew it was coming. But then you have like, I guess the full like autopsy and cause of death hasn't been revealed, but no foul play was like
Yeah.
part of it. So you're just like, can we just wait? Can we just wait till we have everything? And then there was like the whole story about like Lisa or Phoebe on the show was gonna like adopt his
dog. Yeah.
But then they came out and they were like, there's no dog to adopt. She's not doing that. And I was like, how did we get,
we made that whole thing up.
How did that happen? So you just see people just like put out these stories, and we know word travels fast. And it's like, if you have an account with a bunch of followers, that's going to get shared. It's going to reach millions of people in 10 seconds. And it's like, can we just chill for a second? Can we let the professionals, deal with this and, the autopsies and everything else? And then can we let his family just have a second?
Mm-hmm.
I feel really bad for the cast. I mean, obviously for his friends and family and everybody, but the cast, I know, like, I've heard reports that like Jennifer Aniston is like taking this incredibly hard and is like super, super not doing well. And I just feel bad for them and like, what they have to. They were also family, that show for so long, and they were together every day, all day, and it never really, stopped. They all kept in touch every day. It's just really sad, all in all.
So sad. Rest in peace. We love you, Matthew Perry. He's also like definitely the funniest person on the show.
Yeah,
so.
like, thanks for always making me laugh, Chandler.
Yeah. Also, I love that he apparently wanted Zac Efron to play him in a biopic. So
I heard that.
For that, to that I say,
for that, and for that, you win.
Great choice, Matthew Perry. Yeah, so some sad news, but I guess with that, let's dive into maybe some happier news that's kind of kept us afloat. BravoCon, baby.
BravoCon, baby.
The thing about BravoCon, for the last 2 years, you and I have said we're going. And you know what's crazy is like we didn't go. But I feel like we were there. The way that they are producing this content for people that aren't there, and they are just constantly posting videos. We're seeing clips from all of our favorite pages that we follow. Best of Bravo, Bravo Betches, like all these pages.
Everything.
I feel like we were there, and we just had like a free ticket. It was great.
Sure.
Front row seat.
I had a front row seat to everything. It was incredible. Don't get me wrong. I would love to be there. And I actually heard a lot of people say they loved it more in Vegas than New York. So I hope they go back to Vegas next year, which Vegas did post something about like, so excited to do it again next year, whatever, which could just be like, whatever, them just saying it. But I hope it is in Vegas. And if it is, we're going. Actually, we're going. No matter what, we're going, because I kind
of wanted to be in Vegas though, because I feel like what people have said is that it's so much more spaced out and you're able to like walk around and it's more of a convention. Whereas like New York was really cramped. They didn't have a lot of space to work with. And I don't know. God, we have to go. We're going regardless, but
we simply have to go.
Well, even though we weren't there, we have a lot to talk about. We kind of pulled some of our favorite stories that happened over the weekend and just stuff that like you and I need to hash out because there's just a lot. There's a lot. I think we just started right off with the whole Kyle and Mauricio of it all, because it didn't necessarily happen at BravoCon, but has something to do with obviously Bravo. And this is probably your and I's favorite couple on Bravo. And
1000% without a doubt, our favorite couple.
We love them. And obviously they're kind of going through a bit of a separation right now. There's been a lot of news about them. We've kind of seen that throughout the last, couple of months, but now he's on Dancing with the Stars, Mauricio. And that kind of, I think, stirred the pot a little bit more with his partner, even though that was nothing. She went on Watch What Happens Live saying that like seeing Mauricio hold hands with his partner really upset her, even though she's the one that started the breakup.
she's the
And
one
she's
who
been
pushed
fueling
for it.
the rumors with her and Morgan Wade. So I'm like, baby girl, you
The,
can't
the
be
math isn't
upset
math.
about it. Yeah.
No, no, the math is not mathing. No, we love Kyle and Mauricio. And of course, we obviously don't know what is going on behind closed doors in their world. Obviously, Kyle pushed for this. But like, yeah, I got a little irritated with Kyle because I was like, girl, you just did a music video with Morgan Wade where y'all are basically making out.
Mm-hmm.
You're jetting off to all of her shows. She's sitting on your lap, you're sitting on her lap. You guys are getting each other's like initials tattooed on you. But then Mo goes out and just holds his partner's hand. Like, what?
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
don't
it's
know what's going
up.
on with them. It's even like the first couple of episodes of Beverly Hills, seeing the way that the first episode, I'll say, the way that she acted
Yeah.
with him was like, honestly, to me, it felt very like almost like she was like a rebelling teenager. She's like, no,
Yeah.
you can't tell me what to do. I'm gonna get more tattoos and like crossing her arms, like, you can't, you're not the boss of me. And he's like, babe, I'm your husband. Like, I'm not telling you
Yeah.
you can't do it, but like, what? It
Yeah.
just felt very bizarre to me.
The first episode for sure, I was like, I texted you and I was like, oof, have you watched? I'm not really sure I'm loving Kyle's attitude. Like, and I know there have been rumors about Mo in the past and past allegations and all that stuff, but like specifically to that episode, I was just like, Kyle's attitude is just not it, which again could be because of everything that's going on. But it's like, what her one comment about, like, well, maybe you should look at my body more. It was like those kind of jabs of like a high school relationship,
Yes.
a college. Like, it's just like, it's the pettiness. And I'm like, why are we doing this? And I know it's for good TV and you need a storyline and everything, but like, why are it's Kyle and Mo. What are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we
It
doing?
felt very like misplaced because Kyle and Mo have always been a couple that is super like, I feel like sexual and like super passionate and they just love each other so much that like a comment like that felt very wrong. Like she
Icky.
was lying almost. Like,
Yeah.
look at my body more. I feel like she pulled that out of thin air. I'm sure he's looking at your body constantly. I'm sure like that's
Yeah.
not the issue here.
Yeah.
I feel like she's the one pulling away, and I think she's having like a midlife crisis, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um, and like I'm all for, finding yourself, exploring yourself, whatever. But
Yeah.
like I don't think that there's a world, in my opinion, where Mo is the villain. Like and I understand that like maybe there were some stories in the past couple of years or whatever it is. I don't even remember them, but I just
There's just
cannot
like,
see him being the villain.
yeah, I think, and I saw something actually this morning because she did tear up and like kind of cry on the couch at BravoCon. But
Yeah.
like, I think I mean, Mo and like the agency, that has really taken off. I mean, after the show, he's opening up locations all over the world. Like, they're opening one in Portugal, like they just opened a few more in the States. And I think I think sometimes this happens like with couples, is everybody's so busy and so focused on the kids when they're younger and all the sports schedules. And then you have like for them, like filming, and Mo's building his brokerage and all of these things, that when he was gone, and Kyle briefly touched on this, like, he was away for so long. He was traveling every week. He was home, one night out of the week. Then that was your whole life growing up. And I think what kind of maybe kept things intact for them was because of how young Portia was. And then now Portia is a teenager and she's 15 now. Like, now, she's self-sufficient, and maybe now Kyle is like, whoa, everything we were doing was for the kids and for our brand. And now she's like, she has downtime. And I feel like maybe that is where she started spiraling, because we all know Kyle,
Mm-hmm.
she has to be doing something. She's a busy bee, but maybe she didn't have anything. So now she's like, what do I do? Who am I? What was my whole life? You know how you just like start
For
to spiral in
sure.
that
For
kind of
sure.
way? Like, I don't know, but she was saying, at BravoCon that like Farrah's the only one who has moved out. And so Alexia, Sophia, and Portia all still live at home. So it's like the family group chat's like, who's gonna be home for dinner tonight and who's gonna, so like there still is that like family aspect, but she's like, her and Mo are on different levels and different beds. And that's weird. I don't like that for them.
It's really weird. It's really sad. I feel like it is common though to have that like moment in your life, especially after when like, yeah, you've raised all your kids. Like it's the moment where you look at your husband and you're like, oh shit, like we're married and we have a life and now what do we do? Like that kind of thing. And I understand that. Like I'm not there yet. Obviously, we are not that age. We haven't raised a family, but I know that that's a common thing. And like I feel for them because it's like, wait, who am I again? And now she's getting super into the fitness thing and like not drinking anymore. And I think she's just trying to figure out who she is without being a mom maybe and being a wife. But God damn, this is like my favorite family. So I'm just devastated. I just don't know what to do with myself.
No, I'm super upset about it. And she said something, and she was like, I just want to be able to like fix it, but like I can't. And because we all know Kyle's a fixer, but like that hurt. And then she started crying. And then I was like, ugh, like, because she said something about on like one of the carpets before an event, she used the word divorce. But then she went into one of the panels and she was like, I just didn't mean to say that. We're still just separated. We're not divorced. But like when she said the D word, I was like, oh, hate that.
You hate to see it. I know. Yeah. I really hope that like, I don't know if this is like realistic to think, but I hope that whatever this is what they needed. And then they're going to stay together. That's my like naive way of thinking about it, just because I can't imagine seeing like this family break like that.
Right.
But God, I mean, I love Kyle at the end of the day, like whatever she's going through, but I just hate it. I just hate it.
Because I tell you, the moment either one of them gets another partner, I'm going to lose it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and even seeing him hold hands with Emma, his partner, I was like, I don't think that that's anything, but even seeing that like gave me like the heebie-jeebie. I'm like, no. What are you doing? I'm
like, hey, don't do that.
Hey, don't do that. Well, we'll just keep eyes on what's going on because I mean, as we always do. Okay, let's go into there's so much to go into.
So many on my list.
Let's jump into another couple that's kind of had a rocky last couple of months, Carl and Lindsay, from Summer House. So basically, long story short, Lindsay and Carl got engaged. Was it last summer?
Last summer.
And they had been planning this wedding together, started filming again. And basically the story is that Carl brought cameras in. Basically, filming had ended. Carl and Lindsay stopped talking for about 3 days. They got into some fight or something. And on the third or fourth day, he called producers, called the crew, and had a sit-down conversation with Lindsay on camera to basically be like, I don't want to be with you anymore. I want to call this off. And Lindsay obviously did not react well and said like, okay, well then like, fuck you, fuck this, like got really upset and they called the engagement off. And it was really crazy because the thing about Bravo and BravoCon is, number one, when you're on Bravo, yes, it's a reality show, but it's also your life. Like everything's being filmed. These are real people in real relationships. Yeah. And I think like it's so easy for us as viewers and fans to be like, oh my gosh, you know, this is so entertaining for us, blah, blah, blah. But like, this was a real engagement and like that was going to lead to a real wedding that Carl pulled in cameras to film him dumping her and calling it off, which is so beyond insane to me. And so at BravoCon, you know, you have to, this is so unusual, but you have to see your ex-boyfriend. You have to see your ex-fiance. Like you have to be in the same room with these people because it's work. Yeah. So they were on stage together for like the first time since I guess they called this off. And I just felt bad because I know Lindsay was uncomfortable. She said she was super nervous and she was shaking. But the whole story of it all and him basically calling it off was shared on Nick Vile's podcast, which I feel like you have more intel on, but it really like gave us the inside scoop on like what Carl was actually doing behind the scenes and like how it all played out.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, like Carl and Zay, I always just thought was a weird couple. I just never felt like it was like genuine. I wasn't always the biggest fan of Lindsay on Summer House. I just think sometimes, you know, what she wanted to say or do was genuine, but the way, you know, her delivery just never hit. It never hit. And sometimes, you know, she really loved Carl, so she was always like taking his side. And I was like, babe, especially last season, I was like, now Danielle is crazy. But like, it's like, that's your best friend. Of course, she's hurt that she wasn't involved in the engagement, whether like, because I know we've talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
I better be involved. But even if I'm not there in that moment, I don't want to be surprised and be told 10 minutes before it's happening or 10 minutes before I have to go meet you at the engagement party that you just got engaged. Like, I know everybody has different thoughts, but like, if you guys are like, and they are best friends.
Yeah.
I don't
No,
want to
I totally
find
understood
out.
Danielle's side on that. Like, it was seeing the reunion and seeing how hurt she was about it all, like having to like relay all that. I was like, she's very much in the right here.
Yeah.
She should be upset. Yeah.
And that's like having, I don't know, like one of TJ's friends tell me that you're getting engaged in this moment and we have to go meet you in 30 minutes. I would not be the happiest camper. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I would not be the happiest camper. Yeah, but like Lindsay was, I think she's in a very clear, you know, has a very clear mindset right now, actually. But she said that they didn't really fight all summer. I'm reading some like bullet points off of the interview itself, but like they didn't fight all summer. Last 2 weeks were tough. She, you know, like you touched on, they kind of took like a break, living in the same apartment. They were like hiding from each other kind of thing. Then, so the whole thing when like Carl called the producers, everybody received a text that was like, we're filming tomorrow. And Lindsay went to Carl and was like, what do you think this is about? And he played dumb.
Come on.
Like, she was like, what's going on? And then her wheel started turning because then like she said like the morning before they filmed, he was like, I don't know, yelling at her or like just saying some mean things. And she now looking back is like, he was definitely like hyping himself up. Like maybe like before he said that. And then like before filming started. And then she was like, maybe he wanted me to fight. But she was like, if you were going to come to me and tell me that it's off, not that you want to postpone it, but like that it's off, then you're breaking up with me. So like, it's done. It's done. We'll figure this out. But like, she's like, I'm not going to fight for that. You're not going to do that to me. And props to her. Like, I feel really bad for her in this whole situation because as much as I didn't like them as a couple and I felt like Carl wasn't in it, I know that Lindsay was.
Yeah.
Like, that sucks. Now she has to pick up the pieces. I mean, she's still living in the apartment and they only text if like he needs to come get something. But like that just sucks. And I hope that like, I think now it's going to be really, it's kind of like when the whole Scandival thing broke out. It's like we had already watched Vanderpump Rules, right? And we knew that came out and then we had to go back and we were like, oh my God, look at all these little like hidden eggs. And now I feel like it's going to be like that this season of Summer House.
Yeah, it's going to be gold, honestly.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be watching and see a fight and we're going to be like, or we're going to see Carl do something where we're like, he really was. Actually wasn't in it this whole season. So
it's so crazy because even like when like you were saying earlier, I never really saw them doing this.
Yeah.
Like this felt very out of the blue. So then when they called it off, I was like, that makes sense. But the way that he went about it and the way that this all went down is so crazy to me.
Like he knew he was not going to marry her.
So like what were you doing? Like it's just, yeah, watching it this season is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, it's like this is a show, but it's your life. What are you doing? You're wasting your time. You're wasting both people's time. And Lindsay said that she didn't give the engagement ring back. She pawned it, sold it to her jeweler. So like incredible, collect your check.
Yeah, goddamn.
Yeah, she also said that she was like, yeah, Carl was like, so how should we tell everybody? Like, how should we let the guests know that there is no wedding? And she was like, that's on you, babe. You did this. You figure out a way to tell them. She's like, I'm not doing this. But it sucks because when you get that far along, like they were supposed to get married this fall, right? Like,
yeah, like very, like I think they called it off like way too close.
They did,
to the
because they were
date.
losing
Yeah.
money on the venue, the caterers, like literally everything.
Mm-hmm.
Also, all the family that's like flying in, all the plane tickets that were bought. She's
Yeah,
like,
dude.
you go ahead and say that. You go tell all of the guests why. And then he came up with this BS email, atrocious, and saying it was a mutual decision, blah, blah, blah. And I'm glad that like Lindsay was like, absolutely not. It was not mutual. He did this, but I'm glad she didn't say too much too soon. And she like got her moment to literally
Yeah.
lay everything out there, because now it just makes sense. It
Mm-hmm.
just makes sense. So that really sucks, but I do love that for her. And I really hope that she finds somebody not in Bravo. Like, I think she needs like a real like man to like handle her.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
And I
Totally.
I don't think he's on Bravo. Can't think of one of them.
She needs a businessman, Bo. She needs somebody that can just like roll with her, take her aggression. She's so like intense.
Yeah.
And she just needs somebody to be like that's super secure in himself and that knows like, all right, we're good.
Yeah, exactly.
Good luck. Good luck, team.
Good luck.
So we kind of briefly just said Sandoval. Let's dive into
Yeah.
the Sandoval story of it all. Number one, the fact that Ariana had to be in another room with Sandoval, it just pains me. I feel bad for her. I know they just filmed a whole season and she had to deal with him all season, but like to see the two of them in the same room at BravoCon just like made my skin crawl. And he walked out that first day in that stupid ass skirt. Let's talk about it. What is he doing? He's so annoying. Like he is just
40.
like, what are you doing? I feel like right after, I remember thinking this myself, right after like the whole thing went down and paparazzi, I'm doing quotes, paparazzi came and like followed him around. Like, no, you were calling them every single time just to be like, yeah, I wish the best for this. Shut the fuck up. Be quiet.
Literally.
To me, his outfits looked very like Harry Styles. Like, I don't know what he was doing. He was wearing like the bell bottoms and like rainbow sweaters and like necklaces. And I was like, what are you trying to do right now? Like, just stop. And so I feel like he just thinks he's the coolest. He still is the narcissist. Nothing's changed about him.
Not one thing's changed about him.
And just like see him walk on stage and like his little strut just like really pissed me off. But I just felt bad for her to just have to, because again, like this is their real life, but like also this is work. So that was just uncomfortable for me and I felt bad for her. But there was a story that came out after the first or second night that said that Sheena, and this became untrue about Lala, but like that Sheena and Lala were in the same suite with Sandoval that night, hanging out together. And I don't think that the Sheena of it all was a lie. I think that was the case. And Sheena came out and said, yeah, well, I had to ask him about some stuff. So Sheena, I feel like at the end of this past season really became sort of like our hero. The way that she talked to Sandoval, she was like, really like you are so ridiculously wrong in all of this. And the fact that you don't think that is insane. Like she really came for him. And I remember sitting on the couch with you watching it. We were just like, dude, Sheena, like she crushed it.
Yeah.
I think she's backpedaling a little. She's getting into both sides. She's trying to be, from what it seems like right now, this next season is going to be like, we're not going to like Sheena. That's what I think is going to happen. I think she's trying too hard to be in both groups. And I don't know what the intention is, but what are your thoughts on all of that?
So I saw another clip that was like the bars had closed.
Yes.
So she was like talking to a bunch of below deck people, was hitting it off on like, new friendships. And so everybody decided to go back to Sandoval's room and continue the party, continue the conversations. Personally, for me, if that was the room of choice,
I'm going to bed.
I also like at the same time, like I am also very much over the whole scandal of it all. Like I'm not saying like by any means he doesn't deserve this, but it's like it's the same thing over and over. And I don't want it to like, I don't want anybody to backpedal, but like I want it to just kind of like end. But
like let's move on from it.
Yes, like let's move on, but let's definitely not forget. But personally, I don't care. If you're talking to the below deck cast, be like, hey, let's go to my room. Like, I think it looks bad to Ariana. And like, again, this did happen like a while ago. and she is thriving and doing, better. But obviously some of these things are definitely still triggering to her. I just think as a friend, you should be like, oop, oopie. Like, again, it's BravoCon, it's a job. You're meeting new people who, are in the same business as you, but like, I just wouldn't have gone to Sandoval's room. I wouldn't.
I
And it's
just think,
probably like
yeah, she should have
massive and
made a better decision. I don't think anything necessarily bad happened or anything, or I'm
no,
sure she was. And something that Sheena said was like, well, I was there to defend Ariana's name.
yeah.
And I'm like, okay, babe, but like, why are you
I
putting
get
yourself in
that. Like,
positions like that though? I don't know. I feel like Sheena is such a flip-flopper, and I feel like I've really been riding for her the last couple of years, but now
yeah,
she's flopping right back. And I'm like, you need to have an opinion and you need to stick to it. And I'm
yeah,
not saying like I agree with you. I'm over the scandal of it all. Like I don't want to talk about it anymore. But at the
yeah.
same time, if you're gonna be on all these platforms and do a press tour on how you're Ariana's best friend and you're her like ride or die,
Yeah.
you shouldn't be in a room with her ex that she like. Come on
I
now.
think I like, and I will say, if he's with new people, he's definitely gonna like try and sell them that it wasn't that bad, it wasn't his fault. And so from that standpoint, like I get it if you want to be in the room to defend her, but
Sure.
I would get it more if it was like Lala. Like Lala's gonna stand there and she's gonna be like, this is what happened. Fuck that person. Like
Mm-hmm.
I would be like, okay, yeah, like if Lala was in that room, okay, zero questions asked, because I know that she really would be pathetic. Like she's not doing it to like make herself look better. Where
Yeah.
I feel like Sheena was just like, well, I had to do it. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, well, I think everybody also saw what happened. Like, I mean, this season of Winter House that just premiered, like Tom Schwartz is on there, and everybody like it was his first like I mean, it had just happened. It was his first like time out of LA to go. And he was like late. He was a few days late to the house, but like people there were like, whoa, like we heard, like, that's crazy. Like, how are you? Like, people know what happened. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
to like go to his room to defend, but it's also,
Yeah.
it's a little wishy-washy,
It's a little
but
bizarre. I don't
yeah,
know. I am curious to see how the season goes with Vanderpump, because obviously they have call times. They need to be
right.
together. They need to be able to film together in a group. And I think Sandoval was just on a podcast. Oh, Katie Flood and Malia's podcast,
Oh
they're Below
yeah.
Deck Girlies. Um, and they just posted a clip yesterday that was he was basically saying like, going to the season, I was, I felt like the new kid in school. I felt like the weird kid that like nobody wanted to be friends with. And the first day of filming, they were like going on a boat or something, and he like sees all of them at the end of or he couldn't find the group to like go meet them. And he's, at the end of the dock or whatever, I don't know. They were like, oh, hey, we're over here. And he was like, that feeling of like being the new kid, but like then being welcomed back into the group felt so good. I was like, who's welcoming you? Like, who is that?
Yeah.
Who are you talking
Yeah.
about? So I'm just very curious how the season plays out with all of this. It's going to be very interesting. I wonder if Ariana's boy will be on,
Yeah.
and like how all that will go. But yeah, I don't know. I'm also just tired of talking about it. So we shall see.
Chelsea.
Um, all right. What else should we discuss? Okay, did you see the clip of Jennifer Aiden snapping back at the fan?
Yes.
Okay, so at BravoCon, all of these fans get to go up to the mic and ask, their Bravo celebrities their questions,
Yeah.
get to make comments, which is so fun. I think that's so cool they get to do that. Some people have really good questions and like really kind of like stir the pot, which I think is so funny.
Love
And
when they
then
do that.
other times, it's just genuine questions. And someone made a comment about like, Garcelle, like, I really appreciate how you like talk with your kids, just like nice things.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this fan came up to ask Jennifer Aiden why, or like how, I don't want to ruin it, but it was basically like, how does it feel to be so far up Teresa's ass?
Yeah.
And everyone
Everybody
in the
was like,
crowd is like,
whoa.
oh. And so she gets up and she's fired up. Jennifer's like, oh.
Jennifer's
And
like,
Jennifer goes, I'm sorry, but like, if you have a good friend, you're going to defend your friend because they defend you and they love you and you're going to do whatever you want, blah, blah, blah. And then called her like big boy, like in her clap back to the fan.
Big boy. Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
So like Jennifer, babe, good. Like, I think that the end of like filming for Jersey, obviously we've heard rumors and it's gotten like crazy and there were fights and people had to be separated and then filming had to stop for a little bit. So I think she's definitely riding that high still. Like, I think she's also very tired of people being like, here's Teresa's bitch. Like, you'll do whatever Teresa says. It's just, but like, but is it not true? Are you not, are you actually
like, where was the lie though? Where was the lie?
Yeah, like where's the lie? But yeah, when she said that, I was like, oh, Andy was even like,
Oh my
like,
God.
oh my God. Oh my God.
Okay, I am very. When does Jersey come out? Because that's one of my favorite franchises,
Yeah.
and I feel like there's so much going down in Jersey. The
Yeah.
the other big story from BravoCon was the fact that Margaret and Jackie are no longer talking, and
No.
that is the most shocking thing of all. Because well, Jackie kind of got the boot a little bit last season. She was more of a friend of instead of an actual housewife.
Yeah.
Just because like, and I like Jackie like to an extent. I think she's fine, but I don't think she has a lot to like give.
No.
She's like fine. And like in Jersey, you can't just be fine. You need to like really be able to bring
It's
it.
really crazy.
And I am shocked. I don't know what happened, obviously, but the way that they both separately talked about it was it just seems sad to me.
Yeah. Well, Jackie was like, I'm not really, because they were both separately asked about it. And Jackie's response was like, no, like, I'm not really sad about it. Like, and this is how like she was talking to like the reporter, in quotes, like whoever was asking her the question. And she's like, no, I'm not really sad about it. Like, it kind of just like is what it is. And they were like, well, is there any chance of like you guys coming back together? She was like, like, I really just don't think so. Like, I think you'll see it play out this season, but like, no. And then they go and ask Margaret, and she's like, yeah, I'm torn up about it. She's like, this is suicide. That's like one of my best friends. That's family to me. And you're like, okay, whoa, like what happened then? Because Margaret's side, she was saying like, I mean, the truth will come out. And they both said, you guys need to watch it to see. But
Well,
I'm shocked.
Margaret said something like Jackie is someone, I don't know if she said the words Jackie's like now closer to Teresa or the fan did, but she said that Margaret's comment was like, well, Jackie's basically doing that for relevance.
Yeah.
More so to like get probably a position on the show again, like to be a housewife again, which is so crazy. We obviously know Teresa and Jackie's relationship over the last few years. Like that friend, like for that to be a friendship would be mind boggling. So,
well, they've been commenting on each other's Instagrams and like hearts. Like you're like, wait a minute. What's going on?
So interesting. I'm ready for Jersey.
I'm ready for Jersey.
Let's jump into the next story. This actually just happened yesterday, or this story just broke yesterday, but Monica from Salt Lake City is now suing Heather's Beauty Spa over some botched work. So have you been watching this season? What are your thoughts been so far? Because this season is very interesting to me.
So this season, I'm finally like, yes, we have an interesting season. I feel like Salt Lake has been hit or miss each season. It's just been like boring. It really has. I think like the reason for it, Andy was even like, because who was asking Andy? They were like, why haven't you guys been going on any trips? Like, why isn't Salt Lake going international? And Andy was like, for the last few years, I think you know why we couldn't leave the country. And it's like, I'm so happy that the Jen Shaw is finally behind us. Because yes, it was like a crazy story that was actually like literal, like real life, crazy, like fraud. But I'm also like, there was nothing, nobody was giving anything. So this season, I'm like excited. It's drama. I was like, okay, we have, Angie is now like, prominent. She's in the front. New friend Monica that she's bringing on, and then Monica is like getting her story time. And I at first felt really bad for Monica, and I really didn't I felt bad because I think her mom is crazy and I think her mom is doing everything for the spotlight.
Yes.
But then the recent episode, I'm also just like, Monica is, and again, I don't know her full like childhood upbringing, her backstory, all that kind of stuff, but like she's just seeming like a big like baby to me, like a big like whining and like woe is me. And I get it if you have like a not perfect upbringing and a traumatic upbringing, like I don't want to take away from that, but also use your time on the show wisely. Like, and like, okay, also another comment that was made, I forget who was asking Andy the question, but he was like, I think it was Michael Rappaport. I think it was.
I
And he
fucking
was like,
love him.
love him, love him. I think he was like, but I don't know if it was him. So I don't know. But one of them was like, yeah, why is Monica even on the show? We watch Housewives to see the glitz, the glam, the, designer bags everywhere, the millions of dollar closets. He's like, what's Monica? Why is she? I get it. It's for the drama. But at the same time, I'm like, wait, yeah.
Well, it's kind of giving Gina from OC. I feel like it's because yes, there's a big reason why people watch Housewives is like the
See the life
aspirational
that,
aspects,
yeah.
right? It's
The
like,
life
oh,
that-
like they have all these Birkins, like how cool, like how fun, they're glitzy, they're glam, whatever. Monica bought a bag specifically for one of the trips to show that she has some money. I think the reason they probably brought her on was, and it seemed very messy at the beginning, and now it's not even like a topic of discussion, was just the fact that she used to work for Jen Shaw.
She used to work, yeah.
So they were like,
I mean,
oh, let's
like,
just keep the Jen Shaw of it kind of going a little bit. But now it's like they don't talk about that much.
no.
And then I also think her whole like affair of it all was very interesting. Like she had an affair with her husband's sister's brothers, whatever. Like it was like an in-law to the in-law.
It's her brother-in-law. It was her husband's sister's husband.
Yes.
Her brother-in-law.
So it's like, okay, at the beginning, I was like, damn, she's bringing a lot to the table. She's a single mom now. She has all of that kind of backstory. And now I just feel like we're not getting into that. And it is sad because I think her relationship with her mother is very toxic. I don't think her mom is like a great person. I think, and also her mom came on social media to defend herself of dropping your kid off. And then we were all like, okay, but like you did do that. Like,
yeah, like that wasn't a good look, sis.
Yeah, like she's trying to, basically the story was like, Monica was 12 and her mom dropped her off at her neighbor's house and basically went to leave and pursue her dream in New York, and like left Monica behind shortly, like years after her father left her. So she just felt very abandoned by her mom. She felt just like discarded. Totally valid, because that's exactly what her mom did. And I don't think her mom has any remorse for that. I think her mom has a lot of issues, all like just regardless. Like,
yeah.
I felt bad because there was the scene with the two of them at that restaurant, and her mom it does seem like everything her mom does is for the cameras.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't know how to act. So she's like giving all the emotions, and she was like, okay, you've yelled at me, you've cried, nothing's working. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. That's how I felt, especially at that scene at the restaurant, because she was so over the top. She was in Monica's face. She was yelling. She was like, and she like was calling her like a motherfucker. Like she's like doing these things. And I'm like, wait, you're still her. Like, if you want things to change, why are you doing it? Like, why are you, what? Like, I had like secondhand embarrassment from that scene.
Yeah.
And I was very much on Monica's side right there, because then she was very like calm, cool, collected, but also trying to make the point of like, yeah, you did do this. And like, if you want this to change, like, this is where this is coming from. And, but did you watch the most recent episode? Like with, Whitney's daughter's birthday, and then Whitney
no.
Oh my God.
I did. I thought I watched the recent one. Did it just come out yesterday?
Like 2 days ago.
Shoot. Okay. No.
Okay. That's okay. But like in the most recent episode, there's a scene where Whitney is having like a pop-up event for her like jewelry. And she's in the store. They started off with like a mini sound bath. So she's at the front. These
housewives love a sound bath.
The sound bath. Personally, I could never sit still that long and listen to that
I
sound.
think I would just be laughing the whole time.
I would
You and I would just be giggling.
Yeah, we would be giggling. But like, so there's this store is packed and it's like definitely all randoms. And then you have Lisa, who hates Monica, Angie, and Monica in the back. So 3 of them are in the back of the store. And Lisa and Monica are going jab for jab, but it's so annoying. And I honestly, like, I wanted to turn the TV off because I was like, I can't. It's like siblings who fight who always need to have the last word. So it was like, Lisa was like, and the sound bath is going on. So Lisa's like whispering, she's like, don't talk to me. And Angie's like, or Monica's like, well, don't talk to me. And it's like, well, I told you to stop talking to me. And it's literally that tit for tat. Like it's, and I was like, oh my God. And at one point, Whitney's like at the front, she's like, hey, can you guys shut up? And I was like, oh my God, one, just disrespectful because you're at your friend's event. Like, cut the shit. It's not a good place. Like, everybody, and God bless the camera men and women of Bravo, because they are like focusing on like different people like throughout the store, and everybody's like turning and looking. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. And I'm like, this is so cringe. Like, you guys are literally fighting like toddlers.
Yeah.
I think Monica's kind of right now, because we're almost like, I guess, halfway through. Like, I think she's just scrambling. Like, I think she doesn't know what to do.
I think she probably had an idea of what she wanted to do on the season. It just didn't go that way. And she's losing it a little bit. Angie is also someone that's so interesting to me. I don't really, the way that she talks seems like she's reading a script. It's almost like Teen Mom MTV where like they had to read.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it is about the way that she like communicates, but it feels so scripted, feels so fake to me.
Yeah.
I feel like she's a fine like, I don't not like her, but I just get thrown off by the way she talks. And I feel like she's the same way, where she also, like, in that kind of argument, she always needs to have the last word as well. Like, I just feel like that's how these girls are. Like, all 3 of them, just, it feels weird to me. But the lawsuit of it all is crazy.
Sorry, let's circle back.
Let's go back to that. Yeah. Cause I was like, okay, wait. So the headline is that Monica Garcia sues Heather Gay's company Beauty Lab for botched injections on her nose and lips. Dun dun. Okay. It began in August when Heather's company Beauty Lab and Laser filed a lawsuit against Monica for breach of contract of good faith and fair dealing. The Salt Lake City Medical Spa said in the docs that Monica signed a contract with them on December 10th, 2019 to pay $2,400 for cosmetic injection services. According to the court docs exclusively obtained by US Sun, Monica only paid the initial payment of $449, which included the $49 setup fee and $400 down payment. So now I'm like, what is going on? Beauty Lab also put out a statement. I don't know. I didn't see it, but
Beauty Lab just said like, this is not like, nothing was botched. And I like, for housewives that have businesses, like Heather's is legit. It is poppin'. They have multiple locations. It's not just like a housewife job. It's not like, it's a real business that is like doing very well, but like, and has like clients outside of housewives. Like, this is, you know, something that she started is like booming anyway. But like, I just don't think, like, seeing Monica on the show and then seeing this headline, I'm like, Monica definitely is not paying. Nothing was botched. I can promise you nothing was botched. Like
I want to see photos. Like, I want to know what you're referring to. So I need to see,
that's what I thought. I was like, if you're going to come out with these accusations, show the photos, release your before and after, show where it's botched. Let's see it.
It's weird that we haven't seen that. I'm sure that's next.
Well, I also think that there's a reason we haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Nothing was botched, or we're not getting the whole side of the story. And like, maybe whatever plan Monica was on, you know, you have to sometimes, depending on like what kind of filler you're going to get, I don't know, like you come in, you know, twice. Maybe she was like wanting 2 things done and she only came in for one of the like, do you know what I mean? Maybe it didn't all fully happen yet. But again, we don't know. And I was just like, if I was gonna, I mean, she also was like when she first came on in the first episode, she was like, yeah, I used to watch Housewives. And like, there's not a woman that's going to come onto the show that hasn't seen the show. You're just not.
For sure.
You know what you're getting into. So like, back it up, babe. Pull out the receipts. Like, if you're going to go and attack a business and your friends for something that was botched, show the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like you can't show the pictures. It's your nose and your lips.
So Beauty Lab, or I guess, sorry, Heather posted a post and it said, you know, Beauty Lab and laser, it's a phenomenal business, blah, blah, blah. The last paragraph says this lawsuit in the press has no merit and is unfortunately a pattern of behavior from a desperate woman who, when unable to pay her bills, lashes out to avoid accountability.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Ooh. So very curious. Very curious how this will play out. I feel bad for Monica because I feel like things are just, she's losing grip of everything, it seems like, and she just doesn't know what it is. She's almost just like drowning a little bit and she's just trying to grab anything she can. But I think it's crazy to like get into a lawsuit where like, I don't know. I don't know.
Crazy.
But yeah, I will say, like you were saying at the beginning, Salt Lake is so much better this season. I feel like the first season was really good and like came out with a bang. And then since then, it just went
seasons. It just
downhill.
Yeah. I was like, especially after last, I was like, I think I even told you, I was like, I don't even know if I'll watch the next season. Yeah. It was just so awful. But like now these views are up, baby.
It's so good.
They're up. This season.
I'm living for it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I feel like at BravoCon, it was so cool. I'm like acting like we were there, but it was so cool to see like all of our favorite people from all these different franchises and shows and spinoffs in one room, like also meeting each other, also kind of fangirling on each other as well. And I feel like there was a lot of little like romances blooming because everybody has crushes on everybody. One of my favorite things ever, and one of my favorite people on like the Bravo sphere, is Captain Jason. He's from Below Deck Down Under, Australian.
God. A gem. A gift to the world.
Gorgeous, perfect.
Extra time on him.
He really did. And I just love him. And I love him and Aisha, his chief stew. I feel like they have such a good relationship. The ongoing joke is the fact that Captain Jason cannot put his right contact in. If you see him and he's not wearing glasses, just know that he only has one in because he can't do the other eye, which TJ reminded me a little bit of a red flag. I feel like if you're a grown ass man that can drive a boat, you should be able to put a contact in, but like,
okay, hold on, TJ. Don't come for Captain Jason.
He loves, it's so funny. He's super into Below Deck now and he loves Captain Jason. He's now getting to know Captain Sandy a little bit on Med. So I'm like, let's go.
I love Sandy. I love all the captains. Glenn.
So good. Glenn. But so many people I feel like were fangirling over Captain Jason, Lala in specific. And then Captain Jason was giving it right back. And he was asked if you could like get with any Bravo celebrity, who would it be? And he said Lala. Yeah. What?
Immediately, yes. Imagine going from stupid Mr. Randall to Captain Jason.
They both have one kid. They understand the life of parenting, even though Captain Jason never sees his daughter. But yeah, I feel like they're both, I feel like Lala's weird. And I feel like Captain Jason likes weird.
Yes.
Like, I feel like he'd be like down to clown. And I feel like that's who Lala is to her core. And I think this could actually work.
Yes. I think so too. Somebody also said like on the, well, it was like a mix of people. It wasn't just Southern Charm because Sheena was there. But Olivia was asked about about who she would, and she was like, I don't know, like Captain Jason. And she's like, but I saw something about like him and Lala, so like no. And Sheena was like, wait, I was there. Like, we all got in the car, but like Lala went home. I can confirm she didn't go home with Captain Jason. So then Olivia was like, okay. And I don't know, like I love Olivia from Southern Charm, but I just feel like Captain Jason and Lala make a little bit more sense.
I agree. Yeah.
I want, again, for like Olivia, I want, and this is like same for like Lindsay, like we said earlier, they're two totally different people, but like Olivia needs a strong man. She needs a man she doesn't need to question. First of all, we all do, but like she needs a man where she doesn't have to question a single thing. She is like secure and like validated in all her feelings in her relationship. And she needs a man. She needs to know that like he's got it. And that's obviously not what she had. But so I was like, oh, I wonder if anything has happened or like any communication between Olivia and Captain Jason. But ultimately, I would really love for Lala and Captain Jason to like be a thing.
Could you imagine, like, okay, Captain Jason's doing a charter season, the primary is Lala, brings on a couple of her girly pops. It's like a girls' trip. And she like goes up to we're there. We're in the twin bunks. Lala goes into the bridge and she's like, hey. They would just, I can't.
Let me
it's
tell
too
you.
much.
It's too much.
This fan fiction of mine is like, it needs to become a reality right the fuck now. It needs to be
it's becoming a reality right now. And like, Andy, make it happen.
Andy, make it happen.
Bravo Daddy, make it happen.
Okay, another couple. Is this, you have Shep and Gigi. What's going on with Shep and Gigi?
Oh my God. So like I saw this clip again. I miss Gigi. I also saw that she was like, oh, now I'm gonna botch this. She was like, she feuding with MJ and forget who she was feuding with. Okay. Forgot that. But I miss seeing Gigi on my TV. I miss the show. It might be coming back. But she was on the couch and when it was like a small clip, it didn't give us much, but she was like, they had asked Gigi about Shep. And she was like, she like gets up and like tries to like run away because she's like, Lindsay's like asking her like all these questions. And she was like, I mean, yeah, like Shep's come out to LA a few times. Like we've hung out. And Lindsay's like, did you have you hooked up? And she was just like, I've gone to like visit Shep a bunch. He's come here. Like, I don't know, like maybe. And I'm like, what? That's literally all I have. That's all I have. But it has literally shaken me ever since I saw that clip because I was like, Gigi and Shep would just be wild. Definitely not a pair I would ever put together. But
crazy. I just love the meshing of franchises and shows. Like I'm like, I would have never really, I mean, she's hot, so like totally get it. But like that wouldn't have been my first thought.
No, and also like Gigi, you could have like any man. Like Brian.
No, literally.
Hot.
Hot. Also, like for me, just Shep is just dirty. Like love him. Like love watching him on my TV. I think he's funny. He's good.
Also, he's more than 40.
He's older, and also he just feels dirty to me. Like I just don't want that. And like no shame in your game, but like for me personally, that like I don't even want to know the number. I don't want to know.
Like, he said on last night's episode of Southern Charm, there was like a clip, they were at a winery and like Craig was like, you guys are just like built different. He was talking about like Shep and Austin because obviously there's the whole drama with like Shep, Austin, Taylor, and Olivia. And like Shep was like, yeah, because we're dirt bags. And I was like, yes, that's a perfect way to describe yourself.
No, for sure.
You were like 40, 41 years old. You act like you're 22. A literal dirtbag. Like he's not, yeah. So like for Gigi to like, I don't know, be like, oh, we're hanging out. Ooh.
Like, even like Britt from New York, like the new New York, I feel like she made a lot of comments about Shep. Remember on Watch What Happens Live before? Like it seems like these women are out for Shep, which is so crazy just because if you know Bravo, you know Shep and you should know better, right? You would think.
I love what you just said. If you know Bravo, you know Shep, you should know better. Somebody put that on a shirt right now. I'll buy it. Like I'll buy it.
That's the title of today's episode.
Honestly, if you know Bravo, you know Chef, you know better.
Shep, you know better.
Like, ladies,
I
what are we doing?
What are we doing, queens? Come on. Okay, so kind of wrapping things up. I think it was, first of all, I love that we attended BravoCon. I think we should definitely do it again.
Go back next year.
I really do hope it's in Vegas because that would be so fun, dude. We have to go.
We're going.
But Michael Rappaport, who is like one of my he's an actor. We know him. He's in like comedy, whatever. But he's just one of the most unlikely Bravo fans in the world to me. When I told my boyfriend when I told TJ like that he's into Bravo, he was like, that's probably the funniest thing I've heard in my whole life. And to see him on Watch What Happens Live, like he'll have one time he was on, I think he was on, around like Scandival. He was on Sheena's podcast. And I was like, I'd never listened to her podcast, but I had to listen to it. Yes. He interviewed her on her podcast. That's how much he's into it. Cause he's like, well, I have a question about this. Like, what do you think about that? Like he's so invested. And so he hosted a couple of like panels and like parts of BravoCon or whatever, but he's so fun to watch. He's so into it. And it's like, Bravo is for the people, you know?
Bravo is for the people. Like,
I love it.
Bravo gives us everything that we need in life, honestly.
It is like BravoCon was our Super Bowl. I feel like this is our sport. Like the way that we know
it's a sport
so much. It's like constantly you and I are sending each other all the stories. We're so involved. Like it's so great. I feel like these episodes are going to be so fun. Okay. So like, surprise, surprise. We're probably going to do these a lot more often. Hopefully you guys liked this episode because I had so much fun just like chatting about everything. I feel like I really want to bring the Bravo and the pop culture back into my episodes instead of just keeping it on Insta. So this is so fun.
This is fun. This was obviously like a third of like what happened at BravoCon, but these were like the top stories. And then it's like the pop culture Bravo world, it's going to give every week. So like
it never ends. It never ends.
There will be nothing, like we will not run out of things to talk about.
Not once. I'm so excited to have you on and just like dish it out with you because it's so, you know, just as much as me, if not more. So this is always like great. And I get to see your face because we don't live together anymore.
And stop it right now. Don't make me cry.
It's weird that we're not doing this on our basement couch, huh?
Yeah, I really don't like that. Miss that couch also.
I miss it.
Ever. But like, actually, now you have the comfiest couch ever. But no, I miss that. I really do. Sad.
Well, we're just gonna do this as much as possible. I think we'll try and aim for like two episodes a month.
Yeah.
And if something happens, we will do an emergency podcast. Like if something big
press conference, like Mr. Barstool president.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Emergency press conference will be going on. But yeah, this was so much fun. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for chatting.
Stop it. Thanks for having me.
The one, the only Rachel Blake. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'm sure we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.